Bam, we're live. Good morning. Corey, good morning. Michelle, good morning. Melissa, good morning. Captain Rogers, good morning. Is TBD training Townsend's entry into the training camp wars? I think that he's had it for a long time. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll ask him. We'll get to the bottom of that. Training camp wars, huh? What a beautiful family. Yeah, his family. Yeah, crazy, right? He's stoked. 3 kids. 3 kids is good. Good morning, Slater. Mr. Hartle. Good morning. Fingerdo. Good morning. Oh, I see James trying to get on. Oh, nice shirt. Mr. Scott Schweitzer. Clydesdale Media. Good morning. Saber. Oh, good morning. Trinidad. I had no idea. Or if I did, I forgot. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
You're on East Coast time?
No, I'm in the Midwest, so I'm Central.
So it's 9 a.m. for you? Uh-oh. You froze, James. Mr. Townsend. You froze. I'm wearing the same shirt, Sevan. Oh, good. Same shirt as me or same shirt as James? James, you are frozen. I can't see you, and you got stuck. I'm not sure if you can hear me or see me. Tiny Beanie. Sean Lenderman, James is so big he can't get his shoulders in the cam. Yeah, he has to decide, is he going to get his whole body? There we
go. I'm like,
You're 9 a.m., James?
Yes.
Kids off? Do your kids go to school?
Yeah, but not right now. Obviously, everybody's out of school. Gymnastics is running my life right now, so you know how that goes.
I do. I have so many questions about that too. Hey, dude, do you have to watch? This is kind of coming in hot, but do you have to watch your kids closely with gymnastics? I don't trust any of those dudes. I don't trust any of those coaches. I don't trust that scene. I don't trust a scene where there's 500 women and 3 dude coaches. I just don't.
I did.
Trust isn't the right word. I'm not. Let me rephrase. Yeah, no, but it is the right word. I don't trust them. I don't think that they're bad, but my job is to protect my kids, and I'm not. I need to have an eye on that.
No, facts. I did at first, but then again, it's like I'm not a gymnast,
right?
I mean,
But you're a dude.
Right. No, facts. And so whenever I'm watching a male coach, right now she has a female coach, but her first 2 years she had a male coach. So when I'm watching him spot, I don't only just watch him spot her. I watch him spot the other athletes and seeing where he placing his hands and everything. So this coach was fairly good, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And both your daughters are involved in that?
Yes. Yeah.
Because, and I don't, gymnastics obviously has had some high profile fucking weird shit happen, right?
Right.
But on the other hand, dudes have been doing that shit since day one on planet Earth. And so
Absolutely.
And you have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a boy.
4.
Oh yeah, because you got the older child.
Yeah. I have a 21-year-old, 10, 7, and 2.
You know what's crazy? Your older child is older. Oh, you froze again, James. Damn. You're freezing again.
Is this my internet?
I think so. Right. Maybe go stand by the router.
Yep.
Hey, what's crazy is she is older now than when you had her. Isn't that a trip?
It's man. It blows my mind. I could be a grandpa at any day.
Yeah, that's nuts. Does she live by you, near you?
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're great. Thank you.
All right, there we go.
Does she live near you? Do you get to see her? Your
No,
oldest?
no, I don't. I don't at all.
She's
That's
not.
a
Go ahead.
that's a touchy subject and a long
Yeah.
story, very long, and if it goes that route, it goes that route. I told my story plenty of times, and it's a long one. I'm dealing with it today. I'm trying to I'm like, all right, I'm going on the Sevan show. He's a friend of mine. I love the guy. I'm finally glad that we get to talk. But I'm dealing with some mental stuff. But maybe this could be a start to my therapy session.
You perfect. Then I expect some therapy. I expect some therapy back. I always have my best thoughts in the shower, and I didn't really know how to express this to you. But the people around me kind of validate me. Not kind of. They validate me more than I wish they would. Than I wish I let them. But I was actually thinking the fact that you would come on the show and the fact that that we have a relationship validates me. Like it brings me peace of mind, happiness, confidence. I just like the fact that you'll fuck with me. That me and you I have your phone number. You come on my show. Yeah, you validate me in a way that I didn't know until I was sitting there thinking this morning when you were coming on the show. I was like, wow, like in the most superficial sense, it's like when the cool kids hang out with you in high school. You know what I mean? Like if you let me sit next to you at lunch, I'd be like, yeah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like I feel good around you. So thank you.
It's growth for me. As a father, as a human being. Just as a person in society. It's like, I refuse to let perception dictate my idea of a person, right? Because perception on people that look like me or people in my community has not been good, right? That's the perception. So people run with that perception, right? So people run with what they tell you about a certain person, and then all of a sudden they build in that picture for you, and then you don't like that person, right? That perception of you 3 years ago, I was like, I was immature in a way of like falling into what everybody was saying about you, right? He's an a-hole, he's this, he says this, he's that, he's racist, he's this. All right. I heard him say, you know what? He's a fan of mine. He likes me. You know what? I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm not going to let somebody else tell me their feelings about him or their perception of him. Let me go ahead and have a conversation with him one-on-one. Build my own perception, my own reality of who he is. To me, that's how we can move past racism and hatred and bigotry and all that. Have that conversation. Right? Too many people out there allow perception, whether if it's media or whether if somebody have a difference with somebody and they say, you know what, I don't like James or I don't like Sevan because he did this and that person never met you. And then when they meet you, they have an ill will towards you because of what someone else says.
Yeah.
But then when you talk to them and you're like, yo, this doesn't line up with so-and-so said.
Yeah.
So you know what? I like Sevan. You know what? I'm man enough and I'm an adult to have my own mind and build my own opinions off of what I think about him. He's a grown man. He could say whatever he wants. But is that going to dictate my life?
I think another piece. I think another piece about that, which I heard you. I listened to the interview you did with Max El-Haj, and basically one of the takeaways from there is that your entire legacy and your entire being is about your kids now. If I understood that correctly, and mine's the same way. And so things that someone may like, my worst enemies out there, I would rather have them do to me what they did to me 1,000 times before one hair is harmed on my kids. Meaning, what the world has done to me. Like if I could go through my whole life and no one, I hate to be so crass, but no one diddle my kids. Like none of my enemies have ever done anything like that to me. Do you know what I mean? So you got me fired from my job, or you told my wife I was a piece of shit, or you wrote on the internet I'm the most toxic man in the world. Like none of that matters if I can get my kids through life safely. Right. And so it's like, would you rather have this person stop talking shit about you, or your kid get hit by a bus? It's like, I don't want any harm to my kids. And we just have a different perspective now that we have kids too, right? That's kind of the whole thing.
Right.
Who gives a fuck about an interception if your daughter can make it back and forth to gymnastics safely?
Right. And my thing is with my kids is 3 things I instill in them: brave, strong, confidence. Right. I need them to be brave in school. I need them to be brave, with their friends. I need them to be brave in gymnastics, whether if they playing the piano, ballet, brave, strong, confidence, no matter what. Be aware, be educated. But don't let the outside pressures or the outside make you scared, make you weak, make you timid. Be brave.
Yeah.
Be brave, be confident in what you're doing. Be confident in your speech, be confident on how you approach things. Be strong, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. Because emotionally and mentally, physically, we could always train to be strong. But are we also training to be strong mentally and emotionally? And I have 3 daughters, 2 of them who are in my face every day. I need them to be strong. I need them to be brave. I need them to be confident, because my goal is to lead them into the future to create a better one. Whether if somebody doesn't like them because of their skin, the color of their skin, cool. But you still love that person. You still love that next person. Don't hate them because they hate you because of the color of your skin. Or don't just hate that person because they hate you because of the color of skin, and then you hate all of them. No, all of them aren't like that. You still love them. If someone do you wrong because you went ahead and showed them niceness, and you went ahead and was humble, you went ahead and showed them love, and they went ahead and did you dirty, do it again for the next person, and then the next person, and then the next person. Just let it keep rolling. So I when God calls me home, I need to be confident to know that my girls are brave, strong, and confident, because it starts at home, man. And this world is a beast. This world is a beast if it's not coming in straight in from home, if it's not coming in from us as fathers, or my wife as a mother, or us as a group, as parent, as one, to prepare them the right way to be ready for what's outside these doors.
And that's a huge piece too. Mom and dad have to be aligned, or at least when they're not aligned, I think it's got to be behind closed doors.
Have to.
James, I want to go back to your childhood, but why don't you homeschool your kids? You saw that when you were coaching Mal, she was homeschooled. I think your daughter was a state champion in gymnastics. I think that you're aware that homeschooling would be the best way. Why aren't you doing it? Just juggling too many balls now, or you don't think it's the best way?
Yeah. No, I do.
You seem like a homeschool dad type. Like just bring them to teach them how to run the gym, and that's going to be their schooling, right? Meet people, talk to the right people.
You know what's funny? They want to be a gym owner. A gymnastics gym owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame them for being a gymnastics gym owner, because I never heard of a gymnastics gym going out of business.
Yeah, but, even the one in Santa Cruz, it survived the 2 years of closure. Yeah, it's crazy, and I live in a small town. Yeah,
right. So,
do you think about it? Is it an option? Is homeschool an option?
I'm for my 9-year-old it is, because she's getting up there in gymnastics. But then I worry about her well-being, her mental, because she's such a loving person.
Right.
So if I'm isolating her from her 30 friends that she see at school every day, I'm worried what that would do to her, mentally and
Yeah.
emotionally,
Yeah.
you know, because of her
Won't she
character.
see? But if she's in gymnastics and other things, won't she see? Like that's I feel you on that. And my kids, because they don't go to school, they're crazy naive, right? They're like they're just naive, but they get to go to jiu-jitsu and roll around with those other kids, 6 days a week. They go to the skate park. They have friends there. They have friends at tennis. They have, and then, the other weirdo homeschool families that come over and hang out at our house. So they get that, but they don't get like a lot of real world shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like they're playing old Nintendo games still. Like they haven't seen the stuff, like they're playing stuff from the 80s.
And that's what I want my girls. That's what I want for them. Like I'm old school, man. Like your friends live 3 blocks, go ride your bike.
Yeah.
Your friends live a half a mile, go there.
Right.
Even though it is a bit scary to me, but still, like venture out. I need them to see the world from what it is, not just from my point of view. Because then, like I said, perception is everything, right? I want to guide them into building their own perception of reality. Yes, my dad told me this, but even though my dad told me this, let me go ahead and test what my dad told me to see what it's to see if it's lining up. We should do that with everybody.
Right.
If anybody's giving me information, I'm not just going to take it at face value. I have to go ahead and go back and do my research to see if it is true, or if it aligns up with my morals and my values.
There's a couple people who I want to have on the podcast, but I don't because of my loyalty to my friends, and I think it's a bad thing, because it I don't want to use the word heart, but it's not who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not who I am. Like especially as we get older, like I want to squash all the insignificant beefs.
Right.
I want to be.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. Right. And so I kind of feel you on that. If you hang out with people and they're like, yeah, don't talk to Sevan, he's a racist, whatever. I'm sure there's other bigger things like that in your life, but then you go do it, then you have to also be like, oh shit, they're going to judge me. Right. Or what's that going to do to my friendship with them? Like I value my friendship with these people. Yeah, it's weird. But going back to what you were saying, you want your kids to make their own judgments.
Right.
You want them to come to their own conclusions and not carry the burden of your, preconceptions.
Right. But to be guided too,
Right.
I'm building the track of, hey dad, such and such said this, or hey dad, I saw this in school, or I saw this on TV. We can talk it out.
Right.
I could go ahead and give them my opinion or what I think is right or true about it. And then if they 7 years down the line, when she's 17 and that come about again, then her brain has developed more, and then now she can go ahead and say, Dad, I think you were a bit off on this. And then we can have that conversation again.
Right. Clydesdale Media, Preach James, my daughter may be the strongest person I know. That's what I'm most proud of. Jake Chapman, fathers are so much more important than the last 30 years has told us.
Yeah. Yes. Because to me, it's more about building them emotionally and mentally.
The father's duty.
Yeah.
Moms are so much more important than they told us the last 30 years too, right?
Right.
There hasn't been a lot of weight put on parents, it feels like, the last 30 years, but that's a mistake.
The last 30 years, like that generation, man, is who are you to question me on what I'm doing? Who are you to tell me about your feelings? We weren't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to tell my mother, single parent, that dad wasn't around, but I wasn't allowed to tell my mother how I felt.
Really? If your girlfriend broke up with you at school, like in the 6th grade, you couldn't come home and cry to your mom? No shit.
Yeah. I was the prodigy. I wasn't allowed to to be with girls or think about girls. You know, I have two older brothers who I saw it through them. You know, I saw sex early through them because they were sneaking girls in the house and doing their thing. So by mom, you know, working 7 to 11, dad not in the house, it's like my reality was being built by myself.
7 a.m.
And
to
what
11
I was,
p.m. 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
yeah,
Two
double
jobs.
shift.
Oh, double shift.
Double shift, yeah. Yeah. So my reality was being built through the streets and through my brothers
In the Bronx.
in the Bronx, right? And then when we moved to South Jersey in the suburbs, it was like even more to navigate because you go from fast to slow.
How old were you
Right?
when you moved?
I was 11. You know, you go from fast to slow.
So it wasn't that your mom didn't let you express your feelings; it's that she wasn't there, and your brothers didn't want to hear that shit. They were like, quit being a pussy.
No. My brothers were just being brothers, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
and it was like you know, where I come from, you have OGs in the street, right? Being on the corner, you know, the quote unquote the drug dealers or whatever. You know, my brothers, you know, I'm not gonna speak too much on it, but you know, they were the OGs in the street. And it's like when you have somebody that's a prodigy, you keep them away. Because you can be that one that can make us all proud.
What James is referring to is at 3 years old, James was beating 7-year-olds in foot races.
Right.
And so they knew, right? And you how tall are you?
6 feet.
6 feet.
Well, 5'11", 3/4.
Okay,
So.
okay. But you have you're of a great build. You're a great man. Like physically, you were given a good body. You don't got scoliosis. You're 6 feet tall. You put on muscle quick. Like and everyone knew it by the time you were 3. Like, oh shit, this is a good one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you felt that pressure right away to be like the golden child.
I didn't feel it until I was 17. Till I was 17 when I had my oldest daughter.
Oh, so and that was a misstep.
Yeah.
In the eyes, right? And that's why you felt the
Right.
pressure.
Right. It's because, you know.
By the way, a white girl at a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
And did you
That's
go
a
to that
big
school?
no.
Did you go to that? Yeah.
Yeah. And to me at that time, that was a big no. You know.
Like you knew that? You knew that right away?
No.
Oh,
At
okay.
that time, no.
Okay.
No, I didn't know that at all because it's like, but before then, it's like, you know, I was recruited to go to the school, you know, Holy Cross High School in South Jersey. They were parochial group 4. So it's the highest level of football in New Jersey at that time. And we played people like Don Bosco, who is, you know, ranked in the nation to this day, probably for the last 20 to 30 years. You know, St. Peter's Prep, you know, all these big Catholic schools. And those schools in North Jersey were like all boys school. I went to a co-ed school, right? But growing up, I always went to public schools. And so I always thought that, you know, by me being a legend in Little League football and track and everything, you know, in the streets and whatnot, that I was going to go to where my brothers were going to. I didn't understand the divergence of, no, this kid needs to not go to a public school because, one, the education, and then two, you know, football, you know, what we want him to go somewhere to where he's really going to be recognized.
Yeah.
Go to this Catholic school, right? To where they had great athletes. You know, they won championships. Go here. And so I was recruited to go there and got a scholarship, and I just came there for football. Literally. Didn't really have to go to school, didn't really have to do my work. Teachers were giving me my grades. you know, and then the big culprit of it all were girls, women.
Yeah.
Women and partying, right?
Yeah.
You get that. It's called a Catholic school, but it ain't a Catholic school.
Yeah, lots of pretty girls with lots of resources, cars, nice hairdos, exercising in the good facilities,
Right.
beautiful, healthy,
Right.
flourishing young ladies.
Right. So that ties into what I was saying before, that, you know, my mom was very naive. She thought that I wasn't, you know, dating girls, seeing girls. So I had to do everything behind her back without her knowing. You know, because she wanted me to solely focus on football.
And that's the pressure.
And that's the pressure. That's the pressure. How can I solely focus on this when I got 10 people over here telling me to do this and do that, and you know, got, you know, now women are getting involved and partying is getting involved. Good thing I never got into drugs or anything. But, you know, the partying and women can be a drug. You know, and
I've been on
especially
that
at
one.
that young age in high school, you know.
Hey, when you found out she was pregnant, did you start reeling? Did you like feel like the whole ground go like vanish from underneath your feet? Like was that? No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like one of the most intense moments of your life. Like, what am I going to do with my life? No, you're still just a kid, 17. You're just even too naive, too young to even process any of it.
17, I was like, okay, I didn't have my dad. I knew what it felt. I knew those crying nights. I knew those waiting in front of the doorstep and him not showing up. I knew that hurt. So I was like, I'm going to be there.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to be there. But I had 10, 20 people pulling me away from that.
On both sides of the family? On both sides of the family?
On both sides. See, when people in the school found out, especially the parents and the faculty, they literally were calling into the school wanting to harm me because a black kid got a white girl pregnant.
Were they just that overt about it?
That overt. You know, I can remember my junior year because I found out in March of 02. Found out in March of 02, my junior year, and I can remember lunch ladies not wanting to serve me lunch. They wouldn't serve me lunch. And it took the head lunch lady, who was white, Miss Pat, to curse them out in front of everybody.
Like they would just ignore you like you're a ghost, like you'd be in line with those kids and you'd be like, point to one of those white trays and they'd just be like.
Yeah. Kid you not. And it took Miss Pat, head white lunch lady, to curse them out and gave me free lunch until, like, basically grab whatever I want until I graduate. And see, Sevan, that's why I can never have hate in my heart for white people, because a white person knowing that I was being bigoted against, prejudiced against, racism against, right? Knowing that was being directed towards me because I had got a white girl pregnant, she stood up for me. That's why I said perception is everything. She stood up for me. So how can I because somebody else wants to hate me because of what I did and the color of my skin, be the big culprit of saying, you know what? Everybody is racist. I hate everybody. I hate all the white people. No. This lady stuck her neck out for me. Stuck her and I Miss Pat. Miss Pat. And I'll never forget her. I'll never
Why do you think she did that? Why do you think she did that?
That's the goodness in her heart. That's the goodness in her heart.
At that high school, did you know any other girls who got pregnant when you were there? Did you ever hear of any other stories of that happening?
Mm-mm.
It was the only one. And this is a fucked up question to say, but you don't want that to happen to your daughters. You don't want your daughters to get pregnant at 17 or 18.
No, I wouldn't want them to.
Right.
You know, but This is where we're going to get deep into the conversation. It's one of the pressures that I still deal with to this day is because I wasn't guided through that mistake. If you want to call it a mistake, I knew what I was doing. I was having unprotected sex. I knew what I was doing. And that's what I said. Hey, if I'm man enough to have unprotected sex, I'm man enough to step up to the plate and be a father to my child. Mm. But at 17, what do I know about being a parent? I have a parent, so show me.
Right.
Show me.
Right.
Guide me.
Yeah, right. So, you're saying that if one of your daughters got pregnant, you would guide them through it. Same thing with me. If my son got a girl pregnant at 17, I would come in closer to him and help him. I would try to give him a crash course on how to raise the kid, but I would stay by his side for the next 10 years. To be honest, I'd take the kid on as my own, kind of.
Help him right that wrong.
Right.
It's a mistake.
Right.
So that's the thing in society today is that, like, if you make a mistake, you feel as if you can't come back from it, but you can.
Yeah, you can.
Kids can. It's so you're going to make that mistake 20, 30 times. Me as a parent, I'm going to be there for you till you're 80, blue in the face. No matter what, we're going to get this right. But through me helping you and guiding you, you're going to learn from the mistake. Nobody taught me.
And so basically, you weren't there at the birth or anything. They basically, it became basically two different camps, and you were torn.
No. I was there.
You were there.
I was there. Yeah. I was going. I was skipping school. I was going to all her, her appointments, all that. Yeah, I was there because her family were like, was telling her, "You're having an N baby. You're having a zebra baby. Now, how could you do this to our family?" Her mom was trying to take her to adoption classes to give the baby up. But her and I wanted. And the thing about it is, she wasn't my girlfriend. She was just somebody that I was laying down with, right? But I still was with her through it all. It just that, when we had our kid, and and I was there, and then her family kicked her out, so she had to come live with me for 6 months.
Oh shit! With your mom?
Yeah.
And your brothers?
Yeah. No, my brothers were gone. It was just me in the house at this time.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And so she came in with the baby.
Yeah.
Did you like that time? Were those 6 months formidable for you? Did you like that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she graduated 2002. I graduated 2003. And I was still in my senior year, but it was like I was, like I said, she wasn't my girlfriend, but she was living there with me, and I was being his dad. But to my mom, I wasn't a dad.
Right.
To my mom,
you're a little boy.
Mom, to my mom, I'm a little boy, and I'm still playing football.
Yeah. Was your mom cool to her?
Yeah. She was cool to her until she caught us, having sex, and she
even though you already had a kid?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she told her to leave, and so when she left, that's when everything went to shit. That's when everything just boom.
Hey, your family's interaction, was it pretty segregated up until that point? Meaning all your family friends were black. You went to a black church where your mom worked. It was all black people, and then all of a sudden you got this white girl living in your house.
No,
it wasn't like South that. Jersey, it's all mixed up.
Melton pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know, Winston, God people are such assholes. But the thing is, I think that this story that James is telling is like crazy common. Blade, I'm a mistake. Emma Wines, when I got pregnant at 20, my parents disowned me once they met my daughter, we reconnected. They've been so supportive since. Kids heal. Yeah, a little kid can melt the grandparents. That's
yeah.
Audrey, this makes me want to get back on birth control. Good, it should. Or at least carry a box of condoms in your pocket.
Right.
James, when I was I don't know, in the seventh grade, I went to the Bronx and I stayed there for a week. My mom's godmother lived there, and so I was born in 72. That was like 1984, and
That's when I was born today.
Okay, so it wasn't you who tried to mug me. So so I was walking down the street there, and some kid walks up to me and pulls out a box cutter on a busy fucking street, at like just shitloads of people around. Well, first he says to me, "Hey, give me your headphones." I said, "No." And he said, "Those are mine." And I'm like, "They're not yours. They're my sister's." I didn't know what was happening, right? And I was 12. He was probably like 10, but he was probably like a foot taller than me. And then I said, he's like, "Hey, those are mine. I'm like, "No, they're my sister's." He said, "You better give those to me or I'm going to beat you up." And I'm like thinking to myself, is this real? Like, I've never seen anything like this. I'm from California, like a little suburb. So then he pulls out a box cutter, like you push the thing up on the side, like you would use if you work in a store cutting open boxes. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go get my brother. And if I want to, and you better not run anywhere, go anywhere, or else I'm going to cut you with this." And there's adults everywhere and people walking by, and I'm having this conversation with this kid. And then he runs off to go get his brother. He goes into this like high rise, like a 20-story building. And I fucking bolted, right? At that point, like the first 10 minutes of our conversation, I didn't realize that someone was trying to steal something from me. I legitimately believed him that he thought that those were his brother's headphones. Is that the Bronx you grew up in? Like that?
Oh, 100%. It probably wouldn't be a box cutter. It would be something else.
Like what? Like a gun or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he was young. He was new. He was only 10.
Yeah. 10-year-olds carry that. That's the nature of that's the jungle, man. That's where I'm from. That's what happens when you starve out a community of resources, and it's to kill or be killed.
Right.
It literally my community is trying to survive because of there's no resources.
Well, I'm assuming that kid also was taught that that's the method to get stuff. Right?
To kill or be killed, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's like all he knew. He didn't know. Hey,
that's like what do you do when a pit bull, when a pit bull is left out on the street starving?
It's gonna eat your dog. It's gonna eat your dog when you walk by, or your kid.
Right. It's going to look for ways to eat. It's going to look for ways to eat. So that's why that stigma about people that look like me, that's from that area, are called animals. Because the people there are starving. We are starving.
When you grew up, your cupboards there'd be days where your cupboards didn't have food in them with 4 boys. Like they were just eating every cent your mom was spending on food. They were just eating. Like a gallon of milk shows up and it's gone in 10 minutes.
Gone. You're talking about there'd be days where there's no heat, no hot water. There'll be days where you have to boil your water to take a bath. Right, those are the struggles of living in the projects or coming from the projects.
Did those things make you insecure also? Like you felt less than, or did you accept it? You were just like, hey, it's like this for everyone.
Nah, very much so. It still to this day, it's like, this may sound weird, but it's like I get jealous of my kids, of what they have today.
Wow.
Of what I'm able to provide for them, this big house and everything, food every day. Don't have to worry about nothing, Jordans, whatever. I didn't have that. So it's like next week I'm taking them back home to see the Bronx for the first time.
Wow.
And it's like I want them, like, will they understand? I want them to understand what it's like to walk down 2 miles, me and my 2 siblings and my mom, shopping carts full of food, walking home, on a busy on a busy street, on a busy road. They would never understand what it's like to boil water. They would never understand what it's like to leave the oven on because we're cold. There's no heat, or to sleep in a room where it's just 3 beds and it's 6 of us.
Yeah.
Like those stuff.
Was that was common? That was common, by the way, to do the 2 mile walk home or from the grocery store with the shopping cart. That was that was a regular occurrence.
Oh yeah. When we moved to South Jersey, 5 minutes away from Camden. I don't know if you ever heard of Camden, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes outside of Philadelphia. It's very common. But in the Bronx, is like you got the corner store. So, and you might have one supermarket. Luckily, that supermarket was on the same block that I lived on from my project building. Right? But it's not the food that's going to, give you the right nutrients.
Right.
We talk about grape soda. We talk about, Pepsi.
Hot dogs, top ramen.
Everything. Papayas. Papayas called, they call the hot dogs out there papayas. But, pizza, whether if it's Wonder Bread, it's D milk, not the 2% now, vitamin D, right? And it's like all that stuff, quarter juices, like just all the stuff that's not good.
Right, just living off of carbs, basically, in processed meats.
Right, and that's why Black and Hispanic kids today are the leading cause of obesity.
Right. You mean that demographic leads it? Yeah. I went to Watsonville the other day. It's almost all Mexican, city, and I went to. They have an amusement park there, and I went there with my kids, and it was sad. It was like 50% of the little Mexican boys were obese, and I mean like obese, like big fat heads.
Yeah.
Like 5-year-olds that were bigger than my 8-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's not like Mexicans are big people, right? They're little like Armenians.
Right.
And it was crazy. And you're right. It's because they're putting hey, it's like that. It's like that in the South with the rednecks putting Mountain Dew in their babies' bottles.
Really?
Oh, dude. Don't ever Google Mountain Dew mouth.
Really?
Oh, bro.
Wow.
Hey, my friend Travis Bajent, the arm wrestler. Anyway, when I went and visited him in West Virginia, this is in
the
2000.
Older guy.
He big old. He used to be the commentator at the CrossFit Games. He's not old. He's big. His son is Tyson Bajent. His son just broke the NCAA passing record, all-time passing record for most touchdowns. He's been on my show a couple times.
Okay.
Let me see. Anyway, when I went out, I was making a documentary on professional arm wrestling. When I went out to visit him, he took me to we went out to dinner. He's like, "You want to go out to dinner?" I said, "Yeah." So we went to what he called a restaurant, and it was the gas station in his town, and it was called a Schitz or a Schlitz or a something, and they had a table in there, and we ate hot dogs and Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what we have out here in Iowa. Yeah.
It was fucking crazy. I was like, "This really people eat like this?"
Yeah.
Jan Clark, did James take his cart back 2 miles? No, I bet you your cart just lived in the bottom of your building, right?
Yeah.
And like anyone could use it.
Use it for the basketball court.
Oh.
Yeah.
So James, 4 brothers, all the same mom and dad?
No. I got 4 sisters.
Holy shit.
I got 4 sisters, 3 brothers.
So there's 8 of you all together.
Yeah.
And did any of them have a dad around?
No.
But all the same mom?
Yeah.
Can you imagine one woman having 8 babies?
My aunt has 12.
Wow.
Yeah. My aunt has 12. My grandmother, she has 8. Yeah. And two sets of twins. My mom is a fraternal. 2 sets of fraternal twins.
And you were born in the Bronx?
Yes.
And how old were you when you moved to Jersey, South Jersey?
11.
And do you know what happened to your dad?
Yeah.
He just roll? He was never in the picture?
In and out. He was in and out.
Was his dad in and out?
Well, he lost his dad at 8.
Oh.
Car accident. So, but he got caught up in the streets and everything, wanting to, in the 80s in New York was a time to be alive.
Crazy shit.
A lot of
lots of cocaine money, lots of drug money, crazy money.
There you go. Right. So everybody wanted to be a dope boy, and but he started off being there, then he went away from some time. And then where we really clash is when he tried to come back, as I'm already, grown into being a young man, and try to tell me what to do. And that's where, we just never saw eye to eye.
It was too late.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I had my dad on the weekends, right? My parents were divorced, and I had my dad on the weekends. We never did. My dad was there, but we never did any traditional dad stuff. Like, we never played sports. We never played catch. He never
Same.
You did see your dad on the weekends?
No. I mean, we never did. Yeah.
Any of that stuff. But I did have him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he would take me, he'd pick me up on Friday and take me up to Tahoe. And we would just camp for 3 days. You know what I mean? I don't remember any lessons, or no one ever talked to me about values or what it meant to be a man, or I had to learn all that shit from my mom. Right? You know what I mean? Hold the door open, walk on the outside of the street.
Right.
Lady walks in a room, you stand up.
Right.
Fold napkins like this. Fork goes on the left-hand side of the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom worked same thing. My mom would kind of work full time too, not kind of, she was never home, came home, lights were out, scary at home. You're 7 years old, you just want someone to come home.
Right.
I guess you had some brothers around.
Yeah, and my brother. Yeah.
So then you go from after so you're in high school, you got a baby. You got crazy shit going on at home, right? Because you're trying to bring the mother of your child into your house, but you're still playing football at a crazy high level.
Yes.
And you're on the track team.
Yes.
And you're good at both. You're an All-American at both.
Yes.
And how's your work ethic?
My work ethic. I never felt like I had to work hard for anything. Because of my talent.
Explain that to me, because I just don't believe talent exists. It does exist?
It's
born talent. I for some reason, whenever people say that,
talent.
I just really, that exists?
God given. Yeah. So that's like when I sent you that vertical jump that I did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No warm up. No warm up, and jumped a 54-inch.
But I just assume that's because it's like the first time I asked my boy to throw a ball right and left-handed back and forth against a wall and catch them, he could do it. But it's because we've been practicing since he's been 3, throwing with both hands. You're not telling me that you don't have 20 years of jumping under your belt already when you did this, or 30 years of jumping? Isn't this just shit in the bank? No, you came out of the womb like fucking Cuber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I showed this to someone the other day, and they're like, "Dude, you have no idea how hard that is just to spring off the ground like that. You kind of freeze for a second up there." It almost looks like you got stuck, like there was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, it was never taught to me to work hard, man. It was.
Let me ask you this
That's why
question. You didn't have like, what floor did you live on in the Bronx?
fifth floor.
And was there an elevator in the building?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe you ran up and down the stairs 35 times every single, like, Tanya Wagner, when I went and visited her, she lived at the top of the steep hill and a bus would drop her off. And she said for 5 years, every day or whatever, bus would drop her off. And with the 20-pound backpack as a little kid, she would sprint and time herself up the hill. And she said, and that's how I became who I am. It's like, oh shit. There wasn't something like that. There wasn't.
No. You ever heard of the 1% of the 1%?
Yeah, but I just think of that as just fucking rich guys in jets.
No, it could be with athletics too. Sometimes, your genetic makeup is different.
But how about even just the application of it?
Yeah, you could. It could be heightened. You know what I mean? It could be heightened. Like my first day freshman year in college. We do vertical tests, and I jumped to 45. And I never tested vertical before. Growing up, we always brag with our friends to say, "Oh, I could jump higher than you. Can you touch the ceiling, or can you touch this mark?" And this, we would just do that. That would just be fun. Oh, I could dunk. Can you grab the rim? Can you touch the net? This, that was like our vertical, quote unquote, vertical training.
God, that must have driven the other kids crazy who were putting in just endless hours.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Do you ever feel guilty? My dad was born in a really, really into a really hard life. 10 kids living in a concrete hut, no electricity, no bathroom. And now he's got shit, right? He came to the United States like any good Middle Eastern dude, opened up a liquor store, worked, fucking 20 hours a day, dusting wine bottles, and bought real estate. And you know what I mean? Collects rent and lived happily ever after. But he feels guilty. Do you ever feel guilty for what you have? Like your beautiful house, your beautiful daughters?
Like I said, I get jealous of what they have. I get it still haunts me, man. It still haunts me.
Can you get rid of that? Can't you? I mean, isn't part of you like, hey, you're never like, fuck, I deserve this. I earn this. I've worked so hard on myself to get. No, you don't. So it kind of haunts you. You're not even able to, like, I guess you're still young. You're only 37, but you're 37?
39 today.
39 today. Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Crazy. Really? Today's your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. It still haunts you a little bit, because I feel like it haunts my dad too. Like, he feels like, because I guess also because most of the people he knows who came up from there didn't flourish the way he did.
It haunts me on this fact. It haunts me because it took me a long time to actually understand, and it took me a long time to understand what hard work is, because of how my life was shaped through other people's eyes. Like I said, being a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid playing football at a high level from high school and then going on into college, it was like I never had to work for anything. So when you tell a kid that all he loves doing is football, but you telling him he doesn't have to do schoolwork, you're just giving him his grades, that he can leave whatever he wants to school, he's going to take that to heart. Added on with the God-given talent that he's already had, and he could just do whatever he wants at practice, could come whenever he wants to track practice, doesn't have to warm up for track meets and just run. Like, what are you building for this kid in the future? Because right now you're failing him in the present. Like, yes, he has this gift because he's making you important. He's giving you the recognition as a coach.
You just
But
fucking
then,
explained something so good to me.
But then when I go on and then I get to the real thing, like college, now how can a coach trust me? Because I don't want to put in that work. How can a coach trust me to give me the ball? I could trust you to block. I could trust you to block. I could throw you the ball here and there. But how can I trust you to be the man for the team where you're not showing me any hard work?
You're not being a good example for the other players. You're not. It's like not being a team player.
Right.
Hey, so I was listening to your interview with El Haj and some other times I've heard you speak, and you've mentioned the fact that my words, not yours, I can't remember, but that basically you were insecure or mentally not on top of your game. And I was thinking to myself, how could he say that? He fucking has everything. But what you basically, I've always realized that if you don't earn something and you get it, it makes you weak. Like I've seen people get money that they didn't earn and it fucks them up. And so, and when you see kids, like, you know, that you remember the first time your daughter did a backflip, right? And you know, she earned that. And now, like, all these people might be like, I'm black, or I'm Armenian, or I'm white, or I'm rich, or I have none of that matters to your daughter as much as the fact that she's a human who learned how to do a backflip. Like, she earned that herself. She put in the hard work. She built her identity. Now she has it, right? She hasn't, it's like, no one can give that or take that from you ever. You earned it. It's yours. And it's now part of your identity. It's not like no one's telling you shit. Right. And so what you're saying is so much was given to you straight from the womb that it wasn't till later. Wow. That's kind of like me too, man. So, and now you're basically trying to earn your identity and your value by raising good kids. Because to so 100%. much now you're like, fuck, 100%. I got to make up for time and put in all this hard work, and I guess I'm going to be a dad.
And that's and
you fully embrace dad. Pressure. Yeah. You're a professional dad. Some dudes went to be professional athletes. You're like, you parlayed it to be a professional dad.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to be. But
you did want to be that.
A dad.
Yeah. I didn't. That's weird. Yeah.
Of course I wanted to be that football player, but when that incident happened, I tell you, man, it just flipped something in me. Because
what incident? What incident?
When I had my child at 7.
The first one. Okay.
Yeah. It flipped something in me. That pain as a kid, when you get disappointed, when you look up to somebody and you hold them on that pedestal and they telling you, yeah, I'm gonna come get you, I'm gonna buy you this, I'm gonna buy you that, or, you know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and don't follow through, man, that crushes you. That literally crushed me. So I made it a point in my whole life to never be like him. That was one of my driving forces, is to never be like him, as a person, as a man, and as a father. I made it a point to never be like him. And but then when I had my oldest daughter, and people stirred me to just, hey, you do this lifestyle, it's going to make it better for your child. No, it's going to make it worse for my child. Forget all the money and stuff. The money, the lifestyle, that don't mean a damn thing. Me giving time to my kid, what if I'm working at a McDonald's or anything? I told my mom this yesterday, and it's funny that we're talking about it, because my mom finally said, forgive me for not guiding you the right way for when you had Giselle, your daughter. And that brought me to tears, because that's what I always wanted to hear for 21 years.
Yeah.
And I always felt like that I couldn't forgive her because of the parent that I am. I couldn't forgive her for being that parent that I am.
Mm.
But now I understand the type of parent that she was and the person that she was becoming, because her upbringing wasn't that good. Right? So she can only do what she can do with what she was given. Right? But I just knew that it didn't matter if I was working at Target. It didn't matter if I was working at Home Depot. My child would have grown up. My child now would have grown up to know what, we didn't have the best, but my dad was always there with me. He put in the time. He put in the time to talk to me. He put in the time to teach me great values, morals, love. That's more richer than money, big house, and all that. It's that camaraderie, it's that time, it's that love. It's me being there. When a parent
They
is not there for
they take it for granted, which I don't care about, but it's interesting, right? Like, I'd never had that experience that you had, by the way. I was trying to relate to it. I never had a dad or an adult let me down. So when you were saying that, I was like trying to like, I got nothing. I can't empathize with that at all. I can't even figure that out.
So now
Because I just took my parents for granted, and now my kids take me for granted, and I'm happy. Like, aren't you? Your kids, I assume, just take you for granted. Dad will always be there for me.
Always.
Yeah.
Superman.
They're not going to know until you die.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh shit.
Right. That's why I hold it to my chest today. Whenever whenever somebody do me wrong or disappoint me, it bothers me. It bothers me.
It because there's a wound there.
Yeah.
And it aggregates the wound. Wound.
Yeah.
You was it in high school that you broke? Did you break Carlos's high school record?
High school, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And did you know when you did that?
Yeah.
You did that in the 100?
Yep.
Crazy. For those of you who don't know, when Carl Lewis was doing his thing in the Olympics, it was like there weren't a lot of TV stations then. It's not like today. It was like it was like Elvis and before him, and then Carl Lewis.
We had like 6 stations though.
Right, but not like 600. Like if you were famous, I mean, like at night, like you had to choose: are you watching Knight Rider or Bill Cosby, or like there wasn't there, and everyone was watching one of those shows, and like, Carl Lewis was huge, massive superstar.
Because he did everything.
Something happened to me too when I had a kid. I can't explain it either, but something happened to me too, and then I was just like. But I guess it was the first time in my life I ever felt like something. Like I didn't, even though I had made 10 movies, I never would have told anyone, yeah, I'm a director. I felt like a fraud, but I don't feel like a fraud when I say I'm a dad. You like, and are you loving the dad role?
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I mean,
like you wake up in the morning, you're like, fuck yeah, another day. I got this. I got to play dad again.
Yeah. I hate when my kids go to school.
Yeah.
I miss them.
Homeschool, James. Homeschool.
But then again, if I do that, it's like, now in the summer, it's like, go outside.
Right.
You know?
Right. I know, and it's like that for me too. After I'll be out with them for 3 hours, when we get home, I'm like, I don't want to see anyone in the house for an hour. Everyone stay in the yard. Don't come in unless you want to get a whooping. Yeah. Everyone stay outside. I'll kill someone. Yeah. What do you drive? What do you drive? What do you drive?
Cadillac Escalade.
Oh, good kid car?
Oh yeah. The ESV version. The long version.
Would you drive a minivan? I got a minivan. I got a Sienna. No.
I'm not.
How about
I can't be this buff dad getting out of a minivan.
What are you talking about? Look, I get out of it. What are you talking about? I did 100 thrusters last night without putting the bar down with a 45-pound bar while I watched a bunch of videos of you. But the whole time I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, I did it just at the bar, and I'm watching videos on you. I'm like, this is crazy. So then you fantastic in high school, fantastic. Then you go away to college. Do you go to City College or anything, or you just go straight to a 4-year college?
4-year.
And that college is in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
And that's a good football program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're a wide receiver there.
Yes.
And that's the dude who plays on the end, and he runs fast and has great hands, but also can cut and move and like avoid people jumping on him.
Yes.
And when you go there, you don't get to play as much as you believe you deserve, as you were just saying now. But it's not because you weren't talented enough. It's because you didn't follow basically the rules, the unspoken rules of what it meant to be a team player.
Right. No, I played. I started as a true freshman, but it wasn't the play that I was expecting to get. I was, me being the fastest on the team, I was expecting to get the ball.
Right.
I was expecting to go deep all the time and this and that. That was my expectation because, as I just said to you, I'm the fastest guy on the team. Right. Whenever you have a fast guy on the team, we got to get him the ball. But not knowing that, hey, yeah, you may be the fast guy on the team, but you also got to work hard.
Did you make friends? Go ahead.
So the way I can use him is, all right, he got a nice build, he's fast, we just make him block. Right? Now when you're in that position, I'll make you block, I'll put you as a gunner, on punt return. On punt, I'll make you a kick return and a punt return because you are fast. But as a whole collective, I can't trust you to get the ball. So when you're in that position to a coach, that means a coach can't trust you.
Did he tell you that? How do you know all this?
Yeah. You hear. It's like I've always been a student of the game. I love listening to coaches. Maybe that's just another gift that I have. Is that like I could look at a sport, whether it's CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, basketball, football, and understand the X's and O's, right? But mainly when you hear a coach said it to me a lot, and he said it to other players, is that you understand what they're saying. It's like, all right, if you work hard, you got to make me trust you. We'll give you the ball. If you make it on time to the training table or to treatment or to the classroom and this and that or to the weight room and you work hard, we'll give you the ball.
So you were falling short in all of those areas? You would show up everywhere late or not show up and then just show up on the field and play great?
Yeah. Because I felt because that mentality that I had from high school followed with me and I couldn't break it.
Were you embarrassed? Were you embarrassed at how you behaved?
I couldn't. Embarrassment wasn't even a thought to me.
Was there a fuck you component, or it was just lackadaisical?
Yeah,
just didn't care. So it's not you weren't embarrassed. There wasn't a fuck you element. It was just you didn't care. You just wipe a piece of chocolate off your kid's face. That's how I eat too. Like when they're eating ice cream, I just wipe a piece off their face, and that's what I get.
Yeah. It's like, it just. I was built into this athlete that I didn't need to work. I wasn't prepared for the next step, for the next phase. I wasn't guided. That's why I'm so big on guidance. That's why I'm so big on mental capacity and mental toughness now with athletes to prepare them. It's not just to prepare you for this in this moment. I need to prepare you for 2 years, 5 years, 7 years down the line. Whether if it's in this sport, whether if it's CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, football, whatever, but just life, period. So that's why me as a coach, I'm big on all of that. It's more than just CrossFit. It's life. It's who you are becoming. I didn't get that. So by me not getting that, I'm turning it 360, and I'm making sure that anybody that I come into contact with, that they get it.
It's the what's that saying? How you do anything is how you do everything. And so you had been taught you weren't doing everything right. You weren't doing anything right, or with all your heart and passion in it.
Right.
And then how long are you at Iowa?
I was at Iowa for 3 years.
And then from there you went straight to the combine?
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Rutgers. Yeah, I got suspended because I let a girl write my paper.
I let a few girls write my paper. I had to pay for it. Did you have to pay for it?
No.
She just did it?
Yeah, she just did it.
I had to pay for it.
And the teacher thought that me and another football player, me and him were from the same area in high school, but she thought that him and I cheated together, and we did it because a girl wrote his paper and a girl wrote my paper.
Two separate girls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, and they thought that we cheated off each other, so I ended up getting suspended, and he ended up telling them that girl wrote my paper, and then they wanted me to admit to it, and I wouldn't give the girl up.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So they suspended me for the whole year. But luckily, by me playing my freshman year, I used that as my red shirt, and I left.
No shit. They suspended you for a paper? They didn't be like, hey, you got to go back and rewrite this? I got caught once or twice in college too cheating. They just send you back and rewrite it.
I think this is at the time when this was
and I added no value to the college. I just sat out in the quad and smoked weed. I didn't play football or nothing.
This is at the time when like plagiarism started to become big in college.
Okay. Oh, because the internet was around then too. Like there wasn't the internet when I was. Yeah. Okay.
But it wasn't that kind of internet to where you could take a paper and check and see if they took it off this book.
Hal Roberts, I know that's a great line. I let a girl.
He caught on to
that. Corey Leonard, the difference between Sevy and James, one of them had to pay a girl to do something. Well, thank you. Thank you, Corey, for your astute observation. Okay, and then so you go to Rutgers, and is that a real college? Like they got a football team?
Yeah, Rutgers University is one of the they're like an Ivy League public school. They have there's 3 campuses. There's one in Newark, there's one in New Brunswick, and then there's one in Camden. The big one is the one in Piscataway, New Jersey. And no, not Piscataway, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and that has 5 campuses on it. So that's the bigger one, right?
And you transferred it, and were you freaking out? Hey, wait, before I go there, so when you went to Iowa, were you good at making friends? Did you? I'm assuming you went there and you knew no one.
Oh no. There was so the guy that recruited me was from New Jersey. So he had that pipeline. So that's how recruiting is done. Wherever if you're from a state, you have that pipeline to get these players, right? And have them come out to freaking Iowa. Like it was my first time out of Jersey, New York area. And I could remember my mom driving me out there, and I was like, what in the hell did I get myself into?
Like a foreign country, huh?
Foreign country, like
did you learn to love it?
No trees. Yeah, it's like soon as because it's Big Ten football. Soon as school started, that's when the drug just elevated. Like I said, partying and women, and everybody they know who you are there because there's no protein.
Right. Oh.
So the pressure magnified. Like they know who you are. They know your stats.
So you're this big, handsome, super talented, virile man in this town, and like you would walk into a hamburger place, and people would be like, "Look, there's James Townsend. That's the wide receiver for the college team. Maybe you get free fries or something."
I never paid for food.
That's
a lot of
Jane,
my tattoos are free, and yeah, that's just it's a good thing that the NIL is going on now.
Karina, he's 39. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday. Okay, so do you have any friends from college still?
Yeah,
you do. Wow. And so you leave there, you go to Rutgers, and from there, the NFL is interested in you. They come out and say, "Hi, hey, James."
Yeah. It's all right. This is where we're getting into the meat and the potatoes. 2 weeks before my pro day, I'm in a mental hospital.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like a 5150 house, like with crazy. What you and I think I'd heard you say this before. You tried to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Did you really try?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do?
Pills. Vicodin.
And where were you? In your dorm room?
I was at a girl that I was dating. I was at her house.
And did she know you were going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? What it just got too noisy in your head?
Yeah, it was noisy for a while. I mean, it was noisy since I was 17, and so we talking about 6 years, 23. No, well, 21. So we talking about no
Crazy
6
that
years.
you
I'm
never
sorry.
got into
6
drugs,
years,
dude.
23.
Crazy you
So
never
it's
got into
like,
drugs.
yeah, just never liked to smoke, never liked to do any of that stuff. But it was like from 17 to 23, when I was a senior in high school, in college. It was like everything was just coming down. I was getting calls from cousins and other family members that I haven't heard of saying, "Hey, when you make it, I need 50 stacks and this and that." And they would say that because they know the heart that I had. I was being taken advantage of. So I also was afraid of disappointing them. And then it was, if I don't make it, who am I? Who is James Townsend if I don't make it? Who am I? Are they going to see me as just a regular person? Because everybody just knows me as an athlete. And then
So when we watch
just came down.
When we watch from the outside, athletes, we're just like, we see them as driving from point A to point B, right? Here, it's the beginning of the season, and you want to see the 49ers win the Super Bowl if you're a 49er fan, right? But what you're saying is what's going on in the athlete's mind is not, hey, I just play one game at a time and work their way up. They're thinking of, shit, who am I going to be if we don't win the game, if we don't go to the Super Bowl, if I do get kicked off the team? They got to deal with that shit too. Whereas the fan, you don't have to deal with any of that.
Right. That's your identity.
Yeah.
That's your identity. I had a.
So you were haunted by that? What if I don't get accepted to Iowa? And then when you got suspended, it was like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And then you got to Rutgers, and that was another parachute. And then you're like, oh shit, what am I going to do if I don't make it to the pros? And so the anxiety of your pro day. What if they see me and don't like me? And you're like, fuck, and you just couldn't handle the noise anymore. So you just was like, fuck it, I'll just take these pills and end it.
No, it was like, and I still go through it to this day. It's like nobody cared to ask, what's wrong?
Did they know? Maybe they didn't know.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
But if people know me, they know that James Townsend is always smiling and upbeat and everything. I wasn't smiling. That's why I always say about my kids, I would hate for my kids to lose their smile. If they're not smiling, I know something is wrong, because my kids are always smiling. They're like me, always smiling.
Right.
But there were signals out there. I would tell people I'm not feeling right. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm this and that. Oh, you're just fine. It's okay. It's the nerves. This and that. Like no, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. I know all along I should be home with my daughter, but I'm fighting back and forth with the courts just to see her. I'm ducking cops because I owe child support and this and that. And it's like it's too much. And if I don't make it, then what? Wait, don't think about that. Just focus on this and this and that. And you know, all right, you know, me and this girl, we're together. I love this girl, but if we don't be together, then what? My daughter was taken away from me. You know, people walked away from me. If this girl walked away from me, and nobody's there for me.
You were walking on a tightrope for fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
Like you felt like if you just fell off your path a little bit, all your shit was going to unravel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, that's intense. And then so you do that. Do you still go to your pro day?
I went. Yeah. I went.
How long? Sorry. How long were you in the 5150? How long were you like in the nut house?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And it's funny because I had people that had worse situations than me mentally.
Yeah.
It's like they would come out of their trance and be like, "What are you doing here? Why are you here? You don't belong here." They were like, "You don't belong here. Like, what are you doing?" And that to me is like a situation of that's angels looking over me, and it's like, what do you? Because these people are walking back and forth for hours, like saying all this stuff, and then they'd be like, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?"
Meaning God used them to share a message with you, like, hey,
right.
Like don't identify with this. Don't think because you're here you're crazy, because that could happen to you too.
I felt that, yeah.
And then, do your parents come visit you there? Do people come visit you when you're there, or your mom?
My mom did. My mom did. The girl that I was dating did. My position coach did, and then two of my best friends and their dad did.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you remember that who came and visited you?
Yeah.
And how old are you at this time?
23.
Yeah. 23 is 20s are a crazy age, man. I'm surprised so many of us make it past then. We're trying to figure out what the fuck is going. It's like you have an opportunity to, I guess, to wake up. Were you religious? Are you religious? You're pretty religious, right, James? You have a strong faith?
Yeah, that's a good word to say. Faith. Yeah, I have a strong faith.
And was that cultivated at that moment during those 2 weeks, or when you came out, or you had it before then?
I mean, I always was brought to church, you know, from my mom, but it was like, you know, being a young kid, it's like, damn, why I got to go to church? Like, I want to go to church. I'm tired, you know, but
yeah,
but I was there, you know. She taught me about the Lord and His Son, you know. She taught me about Jesus. She taught me about God and everything, and I heard pastors and all them talk, but I wanted to find out for myself.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I wanted to find out for myself, and I didn't find out for myself until like 2 years ago.
No shit.
Yeah. So I was always there, and when I say that, meaning I was a Christian that whole time. I was going to church and everything, and I would just only listen to the pastor at the church that I was going to, and opening up the book when he would say open up the book and listen to his sermon. But I wasn't getting fed. I felt like I was getting the same messages over and over and over and over and over. I started to realize and think there's more to God, there's more to His Son, there's more to His message than what I'm being given. How do I know the message I'm being given is actually how you discern and decipher the passages that's in the book? You know what? I'm gonna go out and read it for myself. study for myself to show myself approved. Right? Because that's what scripture says. Study for yourself to show yourself approved. Once I did that, I dropped all the labels off.
You just picked up like a King James version of the Bible and started reading?
Yeah.
And what does that mean you dropped all the labels off?
I don't identify as a Christian,
You
as a Baptist, as anything. I don't hold the title.
You're just who you are, a man who uses this book to facilitate his faith and his communion with God.
I'm a follower of his son. I'm a follower of his son. I'm a believer in the Father. Christ didn't have a title. We put those titles on him. Man, he didn't have a title. You know, a lot of people will say, well, Christianity or Christian means to be a follower of Christ. Whereas he didn't say, hey, you know, be a Christian. He didn't say that. You know, man went ahead and made those labels up and put those labels and took it or patented it, right?
Kind of like packaged it. Yeah, packaged it and patented it. Yeah.
Yeah. His message was so big that they knew they had to go ahead and take this message and make it their own and then say, all right, this is what it is. It's Roman Catholicism. It's Christianity, right? And a lot of people would say, well, Christianity was born on the day of Pentecost, you know, in Acts 2:38, right? Or Christian. That's not the truth, because Christian was a derogatory term towards the Israelites in that time. They were saying, "Oh, you're a Christian. You're that guy. You're a follower of Jesus." You know, it was a derogatory term. But then later on in Peter, in 1 Peter, he said, "Hey, if they want to call you these names, suffer for it. Fine. Hey, if you want to call me a Christian, call me a Christian." I believe in his message. So they took on that, made that a stamp, and then now you have Christianity to this day. But we are to follow his words and his teaching, right? But he wasn't a Christian. It was a follower of the way. Just follow my message. Just follow the good news. Be a follower of the way. Right? He even when he had the mount of the transfiguration in front of Peter, when Elias and Moses showed up in front of him, and Christ had this transfiguration in front of Peter. Peter was so happy. He's like, all right, I could build this tabernacle right here. He said, no, don't build this tabernacle or build this church right here. Keep it going. My message is ever flowing. It doesn't stop right here. It's not a building. You don't find God in a building. It's the way. Just let it flow. So when I decided to drop all the labels, because what I noticed, man, is that like in society, they like to put labels on us. Right? That's why I don't identify as a Republican, independent, Democrat, none of that, because it's one and all the same. It's one and all the same. That is to divide us. I don't get into all that. Don't put no labels on me. I'm not a Christian, not a Democrat, not a Republican, none of that.
Two questions. So you're self-taught, all that stuff, that all the stories and what you were reiterating right there and the connections you're making in the Bible, you're self-taught? You went out and searched out the book, and that's from your personal reading and experience?
Yeah.
Right. And this other piece, were this all one thing? Did that come with that? Did that come at 35 also, or 37 in the last couple of years? Is that new too? Yeah. And you developed that yourself also. Mm-hmm. Right. And to be a better dad, a better person, and have more peace.
Right. Right.
When you get out of the nut house 2 weeks and then you have to go to the pro day, how does your pro day go?
It's one of the best days. I ran a 4.38. I jumped a 42-inch vertical. You know, I got these looks. Chicago Bears brought me in. I'm doing good at their mini camp. They offered me a contract of $475, but I turned it down.
You did turn it down.
Yeah.
Because of the pressure.
Yeah. I turned it down because in order for me to be at my best, I need to be at my best up here. I was too focused on too many things. That's the elite of the elite. You can't you that needs to be your number one. You know, you're talking about 105 people coming into camp to make a 53-man roster.
Right.
Their contracts aren't guaranteed. Now that we see it, people are getting shot out everywhere. Right? So my mind wasn't on that. It was like, you know what? I'm going to walk away. I went up to Lovey Smith, said, Lovey, I have to walk away. And if this is for me 6 months to a year from now, then so be it. You know, I thank you for your opportunity, but
who's that? Was that your agent?
No,
Lovey
no,
Smith?
he was the head coach.
Oh.
I was like, you know, I'm not here.
This is a good question, James. Were you too scared to succeed? Maybe.
1,000%.
What does that even mean? I don't understand that. How are you on time? Are you good on time?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay. What does that mean? You're afraid to succeed?
You ever watched that 30 for 30 with the guys going broke?
It's old, right? It's really old, right? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, when they had like Warren Sapp and all of them.
Yeah, probably like 20 years old, right?
Yeah, I'd have been one of them. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it because it wouldn't have been for me. I would have got everybody a cars. I would have gave people their money. I would have got people houses. It wouldn't have been for me.
James, do you have a big heart, or do you care more what people sorry, I'm speaking to a young James. I'm 15-year-old James Townsend. Did you have a big heart, or did you just worried about what other people think? And by a big heart, I mean, let's say you and your friends are running on the bus, right? And then you see like all you are in the back of the bus and you're hanging out with your friends. And then all of a sudden you see that there's some old lady who like is having trouble getting her groceries on. So you're like, fuck. So you run back. All your other friends don't even see it. So you run back out, you help her get her shit on, and then you run back to your friends.
That's me.
That was you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you had almost like you had too much situational awareness too.
Right.
Like, hey, just some shit has to be done. And you were okay helping people.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Like someone needs to get on the elevator more importantly than you in your building, and in an elevator's packed, you'll stand out and be like, go ahead, lady.
Yep.
How do you who do you think taught you that?
God.
You don't think your mom taught you that?
Hey, my mom, I mean, still to this day, I hear my mom's voice in my head telling me, you know, always be respectful to your elders.
Right.
Always. You don't call them by their first name. It's Mr., Mrs., aunt, uncle, whoever. You don't raise your hand up at them. You don't raise your voice up at them. None of that. You'll always be respectful. So I think I took that to heart.
Right.
You know, I took that to heart.
Just basically out in the community, just be respectful. And
right.
And then so basically, two things happen when you're like that. People start to take advantage of you. And if you care what people think about you, you get taken advantage of.
People know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. They do.
Yeah. Interesting. And God, I hate this word, but at 39, do you think you've learned how to put boundaries up? Like for me, this is no, you still don't. For me, like I had to learn to say no. I didn't learn to say no until like my 40s. Like just no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that too, but I feel like I have a goal and a mission to help as many people as I can. Whether if they take advantage of me or not,
Right.
I'm going to do that for the next person.
Yeah, I kind of don't mind being taken advantage. So that's interesting. You don't mind being used a little bit. Like, hey, I'm a vessel, use me. Like, hey, like let me bring value to the situation.
I mean, I mind it. I mean, it's going to hurt, but I know I'm going to do it again.
Huh.
What I did for that one person, what I did for you, I'm going to do for the next person, and then the next person, and the next person. That's forgiveness right there. That's forgiveness in a whole nutshell. I'm not going to hold no grudges or anything against that person. I will be upset. I won't forget. Hopefully, my next move will be a little bit better, but it'll be the same move. It'll be the same move because how can we leave our legacy out there to make the future better for our kids if we holding up so many boundaries? Because whoever you touch, Sevan,
Yeah,
has to be a ripple effect. Whoever I touch has to be a ripple effect.
right. The whole pay it forward thing, the whole pay it forward thing. You know that if you help someone, there's a good chance that shit's just going to keep going on forever and ever and ever.
I have to believe in it.
Yeah, me too. Before you, when you started reading the Bible a couple of years ago, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to search myself." Did you ever have like a moment?
Mm-hmm.
You did have a moment, like felt someone's hand on your back, or some weird shit like that.
I had a dream. It was me, my wife, and a couple of our friends. We were out in the field and we were sitting on a car. And the field was just white, just like cloudy white. And I heard his voice call my name. James Townsend, like thunderous. And I just turned around and started walking. But then I turned around and looked back and nobody was with me. And then I woke up and I was crying like hysterically to my wife. Because
in your bed. You almost made me start crying. You almost made me start crying saying that.
His voice was just, it was so groundbreaking and shaking. Like my heart is beating down. It was just like that. But
did you want to go back in the dream after you woke up? Were you like, hey, I need to go back into this dream? Like, I wish I wouldn't have woke up.
Yeah.
I need to double check that.
Right. In a second. But then also it was like my wife wasn't with me. It was like, why did you call me and not her?
Oh, shit.
But then as I'm reading more and I'm allowing his Ruach, his spirit, to lead me and to guide me into all truth, he's calling me.
Tell me this word you just used, his Ruach. What's that?
Yeah, Ruach. So in Hebrew, it means, Holy Ghost. Ruach HaKodesh. So Holy Ghost. RUACH.
RUA. Oh, I spelled it wrong.
RUACH. Yeah. RUACH. HAKOD.
Yeah. Is the Hebrew word for the spirit breath or wind?
Right.
When spoken, the word engages one's breath and lungs.
Right. Right. So it was like, so it's like, and I asked people, who are very well versed and more educated in scripture than me. I asked them about the dream, and they're like, they can't really tell me, but more so the line is like, you're being called. You were called. You were called. So I was like, oh, okay. And you're not just being called to where that, you and your wife have, even though you and your wife are one, but y'all have different callings. Because I took it as that, like, wow, he just called me and just not my wife, but in his word, he says we are one. So wouldn't she be with me? Not necessarily. Maybe he has a mission for her, and then he has a mission for me, like how he has a mission for you, and so on and so on.
Is your wife a follower of Jesus? Or
Yeah.
does she read the Bible? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before you, or you got her into it?
She was raised up Catholic.
How did you meet her, James? How did you meet your wife?
So freshman year, it was like orientation day. Everybody's on campus
In Iowa.
In Iowa. I'm going down into the cafeteria. She's coming up. She had this tube top shirt on. Boobs are big, and I go, damn. And then she smiled. But that's the only time that we talked. We hung out in the same friends group. We had the same friends and anything, but never talked, never dated until June 16th, 2010. She has a dream about me, that we are in love, that we are all about each other.
Even though you had never talked, you'd only seen her on the stairs.
Right. And
crazy.
And we didn't talk from 2003 to 2010. So she sends me a message on my birthday and was like, "Hey, happy birthday. I hope all is well, but I just want to let you know that I had a dream about you, that we were in love and planning our future, all about each other and everything." It's like I haven't spoken to this woman in 7 years. And you just come and go ahead and send me a message. Talk about, we're in love and that you had a dream about me and this and that. And so I messaged her back, was like, you know what, I could be creeped out, but I'm not. We're talking 2 months. She's a financial advisor. So she was living in Minnesota at the time, and then she was being transferred out to California, to LA. And I was like, you know what? I want to come and see you. So 2 months into talking on the phone nonstop, I booked a one-way.
And what year is this? What year is this? 2010?
2010.
And where were you living at the time?
New Jersey.
Okay.
In my mom's 1-bedroom apartment, sleeping on the floor. That whole year and a half after walking away from the Chicago Bears was dark. Was dark. So
really like concerned that you might try to kill yourself again? That dark? Dark. Okay, sorry, we'll get back to that. So tell me, so you go out and visit her,
and I never went back.
No shit. You just stayed. You just moved in with her.
Yeah, never went back. And now here we are. We're living out her dream.
That was 14. That was 14 years ago.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, booked the one-way.
And she gave you 3 kids. She grew 3 kids in her belly for you.
Yeah.
Did you know that she wanted kids when you started dating her? Was that a conversation you had? She didn't.
She didn't right off the bat, because my wife is so devoted to her career.
Yeah.
So devoted to her career.
And then how did you talk her into it?
I didn't. We just
one day she's pregnant. She's like, shit.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is that's the ruach that you said. You're just
mm-hmm.
flowing.
Yeah.
Going back to what's dark, that year and a half is dark because you don't know who you are. You don't know what your purpose is. You just
don't know who I am. Don't know what my purpose is. Nobody. Now, mind you, I'm like a month out from being out of the mental hospital, right? And I'm at home. I walked away from the Bears or whatever.
And
And it's
everyone's
like,
telling you you're crazy because I'm thinking in my head you're already crazy. I'm like, he walked away from the Bears. What the fuck's wrong with him? Like I
yeah,
already got that
yeah,
little thing
yeah,
spinning up in my head. So everyone
you're
thinks that.
crazy. Why
Yeah,
did you do this?
yeah. You made a
We
mistake.
we had plans. You made a mistake. Now you're home. This and that. It's like, but nobody took the time out and say, hey, what is going on?
Right.
Like, what is
Again,
wrong?
for the second time, no one's doing it. Pivotal point.
Still to this day, nobody cared to ask what I was going through to not pursue that career. Nobody. And so it was like nobody looked at me as the same.
Right.
To come home from your mom, from your brothers, your sisters, and everybody around the hood and everything, don't look at you as the same. Don't look at you as the same. And it's like it always plagued in my mind that, like, why can't people look at me as the man, the person? Why you got to look at me as this athlete? Why do you only want to, talk to me when things are good and whatnot? Like, do you know me as a person? Probably not, because you only know me as an athlete and what I can do. But me as a person, I'm greater than that athlete. But this world is different, man. This society is different. Nobody wants to care about who you are as a person. And I'm trying to come to grips with that nobody, especially now, nobody cares about who you are as a person.
What do you mean by that? I understand that nobody cares part, but what do you mean as a person?
Like for example, when Mal put that post out about she wasn't going to compete.
Yeah.
The comments that I saw regarding her pissed me the fuck off. Excuse my language. Because nobody cared about her well-being and who she is as a person. They only cared about her as an athlete because they want to get their fix.
Right.
On them being
right.
a fan.
Right. Oh, you're fucking up. This is your chance to win. Shit like that. Not like, oh shit, Mal, I hope you're okay. Don't make sure you talk to someone, Mal.
Right.
Or you're right. What about this? What about the comments that say, hey, I love you. Can't wait till you're back.
That's good.
It is good.
That's good. But it's short-lived because.
Right. Okay.
Because you're in the back of your mind, you're still wanting her to be on that floor.
Right. You're still holding them to be that athlete. You're still holding to be that thing that obviously they need a break from.
Right. Hey, Mal, I love you. Take your time. We ain't going nowhere. This sport ain't going nowhere. Take your time. I know the pressure.
Here's James Hugh Janus 100% James people. It's a great group in here. 100% James people are misguided in their support. That's a really nice way to say it, right? They're misguided in their support. It's like, hey, she needs a break from the thing that you think you're being nice telling her about. You're such a great athlete, blah blah blah, but they're kind of misguided in their support.
Yes. Yes.
Did you talk to her? Have you talked to her since her pullout?
No. Me and Mal don't. That's another thing that hurts too. We don't talk.
Yeah.
We don't talk. And it's like
Mactel El Haj interview, by the way. If anyone goes back and listens to it 2 years ago, you will see that James Townsend, if you read through the lines, predicted. It's crazy because she was your athlete then, but if you read through the lines and know what we know now, you kind of predicted this was coming. You speak about her that there is a I mean, you took her to that the training think tank, and they had this long day, and then in between each session, there's supposed to be a break, and instead of taking a break, Mal's working out. And that's just one example that you give, but you basically predict that, like, this is what ended up happening to Mal, where she's at now. You kind of predicted in that interview, which I thought was fascinating. You knew her. You knew her well.
Yeah, and that's the relationship that we had. I don't know how people are going to take this, and maybe I'm being too much, but I did see her as a daughter.
Yeah, for sure. It's clear in that interview too, 2 years ago. It's so clear.
Yeah, we were that tight. But it was like Sevan, I know what it takes to be an athlete. You know what I mean? I know what it takes to be an athlete, and it's like, when she wanted to work out in between, it's like I understood her mentality, but then I also knew how to keep it healthy for her, because that motivated her to be the best person and athlete that she can be. And what made it the best was she allowed me to share my faith with her.
Oh. Did she come in? Did she come in as someone who was open to that? Like, did she already have an upbringing like that?
I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of like happened. Like me and Miles spent hours and hours and hours and hours in the gym, and we would talk about rap. We would talk about Instagram, CrossFit, everything. It was cool. And then she would see how I am, and then that would spur the moment of the conversation about faith.
Would you pray? Do you pray, James? Do you pray, James?
Yeah.
Do you pray with other people? Did you ever pray with her?
Yeah.
And she was open. And she was open to it.
Yeah.
So she's cool. Like I would I like praying. I just remember people have always invited me into prayer, and I'm not a praying person, but I always like praying with other people.
That was our thing.
But she didn't have that in her life before you? Do you think she ever prayed with her parents?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know how how much they went to church or anything, but they were believers, and that was the great thing about being a coach to her and like a mentor to her, was that, like, also seeing that happiness on her parents' face. Like I miss seeing that as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I told people this before too. Like, I understand the move, and I don't knock the move. I had a conversation with Bijan 2 or 3 weeks ago in Orlando, and I told him,
is that her manager? Is that her manager?
Was.
And
I told him the same thing. I finally had that conversation with him too. I just said how it was handled was just wrong, but I support it. The reason why I support it is because I want to build up athletes to where they could go ahead and make a living for themselves. I want to because I don't see myself as a big figure in CrossFit. I don't. TBO training, the Brave One gym, we're not proven. We're not those gyms. My gym is, if you want to make it to the semifinals in the game, you come to James Townsend. I'm going to build you up. Not only am I going to build you up as an athlete physically, but I'm going to build you up as a person. Whatever you may be dealing with, insecurities, mental health, mental toughness, emotionally, like, because that's what the Brave One stands for. Not to just make you brave in the gym, but I'm going to make you brave outside of the gym. Right? So I support her move for going and seeking better opportunities. I support any athlete doing that. But there's a way of doing it. Right? There's a way of showing the appreciation and respect. And I'm not holding her to it. Like I said to Bijan, the adults that was involved, I was upset with you. But I forgive you guys, and I'm not upset anymore. I understand it. I understand how the business goes. I even told my wife a year ago, before the games, as big as Mal getting, I guarantee you I get pushed out. I know it because because she was growing bigger than me. She was growing bigger than the gym. I don't mind I don't mind any of my athletes being bigger than me because I don't want to be in the forefront.
Right.
Me being in the forefront and getting those accolades, it makes me nervous because of my past. But I want my athletes to be out there, but be out there in a more respectful, appreciative way. Understand that you can say yes to some things, but not yes to everything. Understand what the vultures want. Understand what the business is, because vultures are going to come. People are going to come. People are going to use you for the volume that you're getting in recognition. People are going to use you for the money that's behind you and make it seem all good with the flowers and everything while they're making money on the back end.
I just want to give people a heads up to just catch you up. So Mal O'Brien, CrossFit Games athlete, showed the most potential of anyone at a young age that we've ever seen in the sport. Trained with Elijah Muhammad, then switched over to James Townsend, and then switched over to Hard Work Pays Off. And there was the part that I remember the most is that James went on a podcast and talked about it, and that people threatened to sue the podcast and James if they didn't pull the podcast down, which was kind of crazy because there was really nothing said in there. And so when he mentions Bijan, I think it was Bijan who was the one who had the kind of butted up against James and was like, "Hey, you can't be talking about this on a podcast." And so James is now saying, "Hey, me and Bijan talked finally a couple weeks ago." But in the meantime, Mal also pulled out of the CrossFit Games in a year that people thought she was not only going to win the games, but begin her dynasty of just completely dominating the sport. And she's pulled out, and we don't know why. And so it's in this little world of CrossFit, it's offered great fodder for the pundits to speculate. And what James is showing is sharing his perspective on the situation.
So I would never.
That sums it up pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's the respect that I have for her and her family. I would never speculate, I would for her. No, I couldn't do that because somewhere deep down in my heart, which I don't think would happen, but somewhere deep down in my heart is that I would love for her to come back. But I don't think it would be. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it'll be a good fit for her because she's big. You know what I mean? She's big, and I'm very much happy for her, and I love that she is. It just
so what I'm hearing you say is Mal, you need a place to come train. The Brave Gym is open to you anytime. Come on in, girl.
Oh, always, man. I love that girl. I love her parents. You know what I mean? What we did in those 2 years was unheard of. And it's like I said, it's just that the Brave One Gym is not your approving. It's not your HWPO. That's why I don't think she will ever come back. But I hope that if she does get back into training and everything, that it's something that she wants to do.
What was your daughter's relationship with her? I know that
they loved her. They loved her. They looked up to her.
Yeah.
Big time.
Because I know daughter, I had Ben on yesterday, and Ben's daughter is going to visit Katrin this week. And I thought that was fascinating, right? Because Katrin also went to HWPO.
Right.
But Ben's daughter still visiting her. So your daughter's also had a great relationship with Mal. She was great for your kids.
Yeah, very great. Very great. My daughter now, she wants to, hey, I want to be in the Olympics and I want to be in the CrossFit Games, just like Mal. She'll say it just like that.
Wow.
Still to this day. Yeah. Still to this day.
When those tumultuous things happened, how do you explain that to your daughter where Mal went? You give her just a really lighthearted G-rated version. Oh, she's training somewhere else. Just
she had a better opportunity.
One of the things you said, this is a little off subject, but one of the things you said about when Mal trained there, her parents basically took care of her food, meaning during those 2 years that you had her, her nutrition was already dialed. Like her parents had paid for someone like Trifecta. Who did her food? Do you know?
What who they call it? M2.
Okay. And so she just would get the food and like she was dialed.
She was dialed.
That's good support from the
dialed.
parents. When you told me that, I was really loving on her parents. I was like, that's where you invest as a parent. That's genius.
Right. She was dialed in. And the thing about it is like I knew she already had it because I had an athlete in 2018 that was going to the games, and this is when we moved out from LA to Iowa back to being in Iowa. So I had an athlete that was living in LA, training with me. Came out, she was preparing for the games in the 14-15, and she was going against Mal. And so at this time, she was being trained by Elijah Muhammad. And so,
are you close with Elijah Muhammad? You guys friends?
No.
You guys aren't? Oh,
no.
Okay.
No.
Because of that? Because of that? No, not because of that. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. But someday that could heal too. Your life is full of healing relationships.
Yeah. Hope so.
Yeah.
But when I was there and they were training.
And you guys lived close to each other during the time, right? Within miles of each other.
Yeah, still do.
Oh, great. And you're in.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you right now?
Des Moines.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, shit.
Yeah.
Weird that you guys both ended up in Iowa.
Yeah. So when I was at the gym and I saw her train for the first time, I was like, man, that girl got it. She got it. And I said to myself, I would love to train an athlete like her or even her. Year and a half later, she comes through the gym. I never saw her as a teen athlete because she has it already. She's that 1% of the 1%. She just needed somebody to mold her into the athlete that she wants to be the right way. And I had the opportunity to do that.
So you're saying that she's James Townsend, but with probably because of her parents, she wasn't afraid of hard work. Not that you were afraid, but you just didn't put in the hard work. She's you that put in the hard work.
Right.
And wow. And how cool for your daughters to see that too. So your daughters probably got some of that from her.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck, I want to go hard.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. And and she enjoyed it. She embraced it. It was like, we got together and she was like, hey, this is my last year in the 16, 17 I want to make it. I was like, okay. All right, cool. But she didn't know my mentality behind training her. My mentality was, I don't want to get you ready for the 16, 17. I know you can be ready for the elite stage because you have it. Strength, mental toughness, all that. You have it. So as I'm training her, I'm slowly pushing her. And she is taking it on. Hey, let's go more. Hey, I'm feeling this way because of my Lyme disease and this and that. Hey, it's taking cool, no problem.
Wait, she had Lyme disease. She got bit by a tick.
I don't know if she got bit by a tick or something, but
isn't that how you get Lyme disease? Isn't that what that is?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, okay.
But it was a way to where when we first started, she and that's one of the reasons why.
It's you get it from an insect. It's transmitted to humans through the bite of an infected black-legged tick. Typical symptoms include fever, headache, fatigue, skin rash. No shit. And I think like you have that shit your whole life once you get it. Okay.
But no, she ended up beating it. And
okay.
Whatnot. Yeah, because she was having headaches or whatever. So like early on, like our first 4 months was like off and on because of what she was dealing with, and I was cool with it, totally understanding and everything. But it was like when we would get together and we would train from there on, it was like not only was we just train or was she just trained, but we will also talk in the middle of it, and I will also relate to her what it is to be an athlete, but then also the pressures that's going to come with it. And so when I heard that she was stepping out and she wanted to pursue new things, and I'm reading people comments and they talking about mental health and pressures. Sevan, I immediately felt guilty because I was posting her. I wanted people to see her. I wanted people to see her hard work. We did certain interviews and this and that, and she just became this big. So it's like I started putting that guilt and that pressure back onto me. Like, damn, I didn't guide her the right way because I led
like
her
she was
into
your daughter and she went out to the real world and she took an L and now you're tripping.
Right. It's like I didn't guide her into the right way of masking.
Did you cry over that,
all
James?
the followers
Did you cry over that?
Over her pulling out?
Yeah.
Or her.
She pulls out and then you feel guilt, and did you cry over that? Like you let your daughter down?
That hurt. That hurt me. Yeah, that hurt me.
More than her actually leaving you. Did that hurt more than that?
Yeah, that hurt me.
Yeah, because
that hurt me.
You were still wishing her well.
Yeah.
Fuck, crazy, dude.
She
was like your daughter. That is what it's like to be a dad right there. You kind of don't care if they spit on you. You don't give a fuck if they spit on you. You just, okay, fly high. Yeah. I still got your back. Because shit on me as you take off. It's okay. I'll clean up down here.
because I know how much she loves the sport.
Yeah.
From the time that we were together, I know how much she loved the sport. So to hear her, to see that pull out, to see her pull out and not that, I took some responsibility in that, because I'm like, damn, did I? Yeah. I just started thinking of things, you know what I mean?
Because I taught you how to drive and you crashed, and now it's like, oh fuck.
Because we never had miscommunication nor conflict. Never. It was just perfect.
You didn't have conflict, James. Let me ask you this: there's stories about you and Tudor Magda like fighting at, I don't know if it was Zelos or at a semifinals or quarterfinals. Were you guys fighting there, like yelling at each other?
Nah, that was at the games.
You weren't. I just picture you were like, "Hey, dude, you were supposed to do 10 pull-ups," and he's like, "Fuck you," and you're like, "Fuck you." Like, that's how I made that story up in my head. But that's what people are like, dude, holy shit, I got a text, James Townsend and Tudor are fighting.
Nah, it was he got upset after the single unders.
Yeah.
And he came to the back and I was like, "Hey, bro, don't effing talk to me." Like, and I was like, "Bro," I was like, "There's people around."
Right.
Don't fucking talk to me. You know, like and I get that athletes be like that. I get that.
Right.
But then again, you gotta be aware of yourself.
Oh, you never show kink in your armor though. You don't fight with your coach. You don't fight with your wife. And you don't fight with your kids in public. You whisper in your wife's ear, "I'm gonna fuck you up when we get home. I am gonna fucking, I'm gonna fucking put hot sauce in your fucking pasta tonight, girl." Yeah, but you just smile in public. I agree. Okay, so you had a little outburst in public and you didn't like it. That it showed a chink in the armor.
Right. It's more so. I wanted.
Did you have? And you never had that with Mal, is what you're saying? You never. That would never.
From inside the gym, outside the gym, competition, none of that. Never.
Was she there one day and gone the next?
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
Hey, if you can, in all honesty, or just not at all, do you know why she left? Like, do you know if it was like money or better training or mad at you because you didn't have her favorite toilet paper in the bathroom, or like,
no?
Can you just point to one thing and be like, yeah, she left because of that? Because I was spending too much time with my daughters. Can you?
I mean, it's Matt Fraser.
Okay, right. 5 times champ, she had opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not faulting her for that. Any athlete would.
Right. Okay.
Any athlete would take that. Michael Jordan come up, like I got to give the guy respect. This is his sport. He's the Michael Jordan of the sport.
Right.
But there's ways of doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right.
You know what I mean? If freaking what's the guy behind the camera name that's always with you? I forgot his name. Sousa.
Right.
And Sousa just upped and left and went with,
Another podcast. Went over to Clydesdale
another
Media.
podcast, and then say, hey, Sevan, thank you or whatever. You're allowed to feel some type of way because
Fuck
y'all
yeah,
had
I would be pissed.
Y'all build rapport. Y'all had a relationship, right? That's what I said to Bijan. I said, B, me and you were friends since 2014. Like,
they avoided the discomfort of having the face-to-face conversation with you is what they did.
Yeah, but
because it's uncomfortable, so they avoided it.
In a way, yeah.
It's like breaking up with someone on the phone.
Yeah, right. And that's all. And, but I saw people say things like, she don't owe you anything, this and that. No, she don't. No athlete owe anybody anything. But the way I'm raised is that you give respect when respect is due. You give appreciation where appreciation is due. That's it. You just respect. You just have that conversation. Hey, I thank you. This and that. I'm not saying that I want to be gloated and recognized all the time. No, but it's just that I just expected it to be done in a more professional way from the adult, not her. I'm never going to put this on her. Never going to put this on her because any kid is going to want to train with Michael Jordan.
Right.
Over a guy that's I don't have any skin in the game. It's just that I just know what I'm doing. But it's just a respect and an appreciation factor.
When Justin Medeiros went out to visit Matt with did you ever go out and visit Matt with Mal?
No.
When Justin Medeiros went out and visited Matt with he brought Adam Knifer with him.
Yeah, love Adam.
Yeah, you know Adam?
Yeah.
He's cool as shit, right?
Cool as shit. They both are cool as shit.
Oh, Justin too?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're homies.
Yeah.
They're down to earth. They're the salt of the earth dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just
Yeah,
they're great. You when in 2010 when you move in with your wife and you never come home, you just how long before you marry her?
2 years.
And was she pregnant first or you married her first?
Married her first.
No shit. How did you not get her? How did you not get her pregnant in those first 2 years? That must have been so fun. So you had this really hot girl who has an apartment invite you to LA. Did you guys just coil like snakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been crazy.
That's
God damn, if those walls could talk, holy shit.
Yeah. That's like it's funny because when we got engaged, she wanted to get married in her hometown. And her hometown is like a town of 1,000 people, just small as hell.
In California?
No, in Iowa, Northwest Iowa.
Oh, that's where she's from. Oh, right. And you met her at school there. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And she wanted to get married in the Catholic church of the town because her grandmother and her mom got married there.
Cool.
Right. So we had a meeting with the priest. And we go in, we sit down with the priest, and she's like, you know my mother, Deb, and you know my grandmother, Mary. They both got married here. James and I, we are engaged, and I would like to get married here too. We would want to know, will you marry her? He looks at her, he looks at me, and then he said no, because he's black.
No shit.
Right to my face.
No shit.
Yeah.
How old was the dude?
It had to be in his 60s. 70s,
is that the first time in your life you'd ever heard something like that overt?
No. The first time was when I was 17. But I didn't understand it as much then.
And what did your wife say? What did you say to him?
Yeah, Sevan, I lied not to you. It was like the grace of the Most High was just over me. I was just in a trance. And then he looks at her and then just started screaming at her. You went from a Cadillac to a hoopty.
He said that shit.
Yeah. You went from a Cadillac to a hoopty. Anything goes out in California.
Listen. Hold on. Sorry. Trish, you fucking bitch. I have said on this show many times that racism isn't real. Listen, you fuck nut. You shut up. James and I will get there in our own time. Probably not on this show. You fucking settle down. You quit calling me out. Tell Ron to fucking put the whole cock in you tonight. Okay, sorry. So he tells you this, and he starts lecturing her on she got a bad guy.
Are you practicing your Eucharist? Or are you practicing your seven faiths or whatever they do with Catholics and
did you know right away he was going to go there when you walked in? Did he shake your hand? Was he a gentleman to you, or was he already kind of shiny?
Yeah, you know, he shook my hand. He shook my hand. You know what? It's like, look, 17. I just thought grown-ups were upset at me that I got a girl pregnant. Oh, you know, they don't like me because I'm black. I didn't have I wasn't woke yet. I didn't have the knowledge or the education of what's going on, you know, in the world. I didn't know, right? At that time, then I was dating a girl for 3.5 years who was Italian. I used to get dropped off at the corner of her house so she can go in and get clothes to come stay with me, because her mother didn't like me because I was black. But I didn't understand that. I would just, for 3.5 years, I would just think it was normal. So as I'm walking through life, I'm like, yeah, you know, people don't like people because they black or because I'm black, this and that. Well, about, you know, racism this, racism that, this and that. I didn't have the knowledge and understanding until I got the knowledge and understanding through college, through my major. You know, start reading, start listening. But one thing I made sure is that I never let what happened in history, what happened in the present, dictate on how I show love or give love to others. Right? So when he said that, I just was sitting there just hearing him. I couldn't move. So when I tell people this story, they be like, James, I don't know how you do it, because I would have jumped across that table, white, black, Hispanic, and all of them. Anytime I tell my friends that, they be like, yo, I don't know how you could do it. I would have jumped across that table and it would have been on. But I know it was just nobody but the grace of God, because I lied not to you, Sevan. I'm sitting here, my wife is on my right-hand side and he's in front of me. I felt like I couldn't move. And she's sitting there crying because he just laying it on her. And then she finally stands up and was like, you know what? That's all right. James and I are still going to get married. We thank you. She shook his hand. I shook his hand.
And she was crying? She was crying then?
Yeah. She walks out and I walk out. And then it hit me. I was like, did he just say that? And she just kept walking and crying hysterically. And then I get in the car, and they only live 2 blocks away from the church. And we go home, we go in the house. She's crying. Within a minute, my in-laws get in the car and go over there. That solidified for me that my in-laws.
Oh, to talk to the priest, like be like, yo, what the fuck did you do to our son-in-law?
Yeah, they reamed him out. Yeah, that right there solidified for me that my in-laws have my back, no matter what.
I've told this story before, but my wife was hit by a car. car ran an intersection. She got some cash. My wife's a Jew, 100% Ashkenazi Jew. One of her family members is friends with a vice president of a large bank in Los Angeles, with 50 banks in LA. So she says, hey, you want to meet with this lady and find out what to do with your little bit of cash you got. So my wife and I are like, okay, we weren't married at the time. So we go there, and the lady's a Jew too, right? Jew banker. And we're talking, and she's like, somehow she realizes I'm Armenian. And she goes, hey, you know, we don't lend money to Armenians. I go, what do you mean? She goes, if we see the last name with IAN or YAN, we send you out of the area, out of the district. We guide you to another bank. We don't lend money to Armenians.
Wow.
Right? And so I know that feeling, but I kind of was like, part of me kind of, I wonder if it was like this for you, kind of me liked the experience in a sick way. I was like, wow, I'm witnessing some shit. You know what I mean? And James,
you don't want that experience.
But James, there's like 1 million Armenians in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
And part of me was like, it's like the Armenian capital. Like you probably ran it. Like every Uber driver there is Armenian. Every jewelry salesman, liquor store owner, fucking carpet salesman. It's just Armenians.
Westlake, Thousand Oaks.
Yeah, they're just running that shit. And so, but part of me was like, I know why they don't lend money to Armenians. Because through their fucking experience, Armenians aren't paying their fucking mortgages back.
Okay.
Like
so
you know what I mean?
History behind it.
Yeah, right. Like I'm not like. I'm not like I don't know.
But she still shouldn't have said that. That still shouldn't have been a reason. That's still not a reason.
I'm glad she said it to me. Aren't you? Part of me, I'm glad she said it. I'm glad I heard it. Like, I have to assume you're glad you heard it too. Meaning, like, if you could cure the world of jackasses like that, you'd like to. But if there are jackasses like that, they said it to the right guy. You're capable of handling it, right. And you and you need to know it. Like that was made for you, right? Like I knew when I was in that position, hearing that was made for me. And what I mean by racism isn't real, isn't the fact that people can't say racist shit. What I'm saying is like, that's a story in their head. They're telling themselves that. Do you get what I'm saying? That story doesn't exist in the real world. Black people aren't less or more because of the color of their skin in the outside world. Someone has to make that story up in their head, right? There's no truth to that story. That's all. That's what I mean when I say it's not real. I'm not saying that there's not people
but it's being pushed.
Right. That's
it's being pushed. Yeah.
It's being pushed, right. I'm not denying the fact that there's people out there walking around who are like, God, I love big tits. God, I don't like black people. God, I'm not lending money to Armenians. But none of that by true. I'm not saying like, if I'm standing here and you run at me full speed and hit me, everyone will be like, yep, that's true. James Townsend just ran Sevan over. That's what I mean by, that's the distinction I'm saying by it's not, there's no truth. Like we don't have to buy into it if we don't want to. You don't have to. You don't.
But see,
you don't
that's
have to buy into it. I don't want to tell myself that story.
But see, that's the thing is that, like, you know, just like we talked about an hour ago, perception, right?
Right.
Media creates a perception about a particular group of people for years.
Right.
That perception, like you said, if you want to believe it and you want to take it on, it's up to you to believe what the media is giving you, whether if it's true or not.
Right.
So perception. The perception is constantly being pushed.
Right.
Right? The perception is constantly being pushed that Armenians don't pay their mortgage back.
Right.
Perception is being pushed that blacks are thugs, criminals, animals. You know, perception is being pushed that Mexicans are, you know, dirty or criminals or, you know, sex offenders and all that.
Like
right?
me and you want to push the perception. Me and you want to push the perception that if you don't have loving parents at home, your kids are at a disadvantage. That's the story me and you want to tell the world.
Right. And I don't like going with data and all that because I think data could be skewed, but data shows that when there's one parent in a household, you know, the kid is prone to go into mental health issues or have less advantages to a kid that has two parents in a household.
Right.
Right. Doesn't mean that the kid that has two parents in the household won't have mental health issues. He still could. I mean, right. there's evidence on it, you know, but yeah.
You were there for so what ends up happening? So where do you guys get married?
We got married in try to say this word, Okoboji.
Okoboji. That's a real place? That's in Iowa?
Real place, yeah. Northwest Iowa. It's a lake place. And we got a little town that's like 20 minutes from Okoboji. Okoboji is like a place where it's like damn, what's that show? Ozarks. It's like Ozarks.
Did you watch that show? You watched that show?
Oh yeah, loved it.
That show was crazy.
Loved it. And that's
you watched that with your wife? You watched that with your wife?
Yeah.
The kids are in bed though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They can't see that crazy shit.
Too much F words.
Yeah, and crazy shit. Crazy dysfunctional family. Yeah. That family stresses me out.
But it's like, but it's a lake place that people go, during the summer, especially 4th of July and all that, and bring their boats and party, right? So Okoboji is kind of like that. But 20 minutes outside of it, in this place called Milford, we had a guy in his church, and he let our pastor come up from LA at the time, get us married, and so she had half of her dream. She got married back home in Iowa, a place that her and her family will always go to, do vacations and all that. So,
do you know what you are, James? Like, do you know your origins of your country? Like, do you know like if your people hail from Kenya or Nigeria, or like like what your DNA is?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Benin.
Spell that for me.
So my people is from Benin. So Benin.
Benin. Oh shit, that's a country.
Yeah. So that's where the
never
door
even heard of that country.
So that's where the door of no return.
Oh shit, and it's right next to Nigeria. Fuck, I would gonna guess you're Nigerian.
Yeah. So that's so I had did my whole like DNA and all that and traced my lineage back and all that, and it came back that I'm a Benin Jew.
No shit.
Yeah. So the slave. So
God,
so
this story's getting crazy.
The transatlantic slave trade. You ever seen Woman King?
No.
It's the movie with Viola Davis and all that, and it kind of touch on the Portuguese taking the Jews that were from there, the black people that was being sold by other Africans, and they were taking other sector group people. Like this is where like the door of no return is in Benin. Benin used to be called Dahomey, Dahomey.
So it's right there between Ghana, Togo. I never even heard of Togo.
Yeah,
Benin, and then Nigeria.
So all of that was the transatlantic slave trade, the coast. But one of the prime ports was right there in Benin, at the bottom of Benin, if you go to the bottom.
Yeah, I was looking at these other countries too. I've never even heard of this fucking country. What country is this? Look how huge that country is. I've never heard of it. How is that possible?
Mali, Niger, yeah.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, go ahead. So to the coast there, right?
Right. So right there at the bottom of the coast it's this.
How do you know you're from there? How do you know that's your people?
When you do your DNA, whether if it's I did saliva and blood.
Uh-huh.
And then you get to trace it back, right? And it'll tell you through your saliva and your blood that, hey, your blood matches the people that are in this land over here.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And do you know, have you met any other Benin people? Do they look like you?
Never met them. Mm-mm.
Never, not another one. You don't know another one?
No. Mm-mm.
Because you
a
look
lot
at
of my family, because
you look at these Nigerians in the UFC. That's like where well, first of all, the demographic of Nigerians, like you only hear good shit about them, but then you look at their bodies, and they're fucking freaks of nature, all of them.
Right.
I wonder, because I was trying to think. I wonder if there's I wonder what the deal is. I'm gonna look into that. Anyway, that'll be for another show.
You should watch the movie Woman King. You should watch it.
All right. Woman King. James, can you do part 2 with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome. This Sevan dude is dumb.
Who is that?
Capital DUMB. God, think if I'm dumb, just imagine what you are.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Just imagine what you are, Mr. Mr. Shoot the Club Up. Look at this guy's fucking name, Shoot the Club Up. My goodness.
Hey, Sevan, let me ask you a question. When is your birthday? Do you get cards with money in it still?
Yeah. Like $25 or $15.
Yo, my mother-in-law is so funny.
Oh, how much did she send you? She send you 25?
50.
Oh, big time.
That's my mother-in-law, man.
Hey, and then you know what you're going to do? So you're going to set that where all your shit is, and you're not going to cash it for 6 months. And then your wife's going to be like, my mom's asking why you haven't cashed the check yet. Right?
Yep.
You're going to be like, fuck. And you're going to, do you end up just handing it to your wife and be like, can you just take it? Can you cash it?
Yeah.
Because my wife does that shit on her phone. I'm like, can you just take it?
Yeah. My wife being a CPA and a CFP, she'll take it and just put it in a girl's like IRA or something and whatever those terms are.
Your kids already, so your wife's already started savings accounts for your kids.
Oh yeah.
God, doesn't that feel good? My wife did. My mom did, and wife did all that for my kids too. I'm so happy for them.
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to, man. It's when I became a dad, man, it became less and less and less about me, and that's what helps me as a coach. It's less about me and more about others, and me being a dad. Because I said to myself, with all that I went through with my oldest daughter, the next girl that I marry, the next kid that I have will be by the next girl that I marry. I made sure of that. Because of what I went through with my oldest daughter. And that's why I don't know if you saw the videos in pictures early on with P, she was always with me. I always needed her with me.
Yeah.
Because of what I went through with my oldest daughter. So
the thought of divorce probably terrifies you, right? Like all my friends who are divorced, I'm like, there's one thing I don't want in my life, and it's divorce.
Yeah, that and death.
Yeah, I'll take death before divorce. I do not want divorce. You are scared to die, James? You're scared to die?
I'm scared to leave my kids.
Oh, me too. I'm scared to leave my kids too. Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know if scared is the right word. I just really don't want to. I really don't want to.
I think that automatically comes with being a dad, like a parent. Like you just don't want to, like if something happened to them, like them playing outside and like kidnapping, like I would lose my shit. Like, but I need to see them grow up, man. I know
sometimes I think about that too. Like about my kids being kidnapped, I almost feel like I would want to start a fire somewhere and just start burning the world down until I find wherever they're at. Just smoke everyone 100%. Out. Just start the whole fucking planet on fire until 100%. Until they come running out somewhere.
100%. I'm going out like what's the guy from Taken?
Yeah.
Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson.
Yep. James, I'm gonna ask Souza to reschedule us again right away. Dude, awesome. Hey, did you watch all the semifinals pretty closely?
Except for
like the weird ones in the weird time zones, like Africa and Europe, and the ones that were all upside down. Yeah. Okay. Hey. Awesome, dude. I have to tell you, I was really excited. My wife was sleeping in bed this morning, and I was getting ready, and she's like, "Oh, how are you feeling?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm so excited to get up this morning." She goes, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I'm going to really get to like a long overdue face-to-face with Mr. Townsend." So I'm stoked,
Absolutely.
dude. Better than I ever imagined, dude.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Love you, man. And I'll be in touch, man. You're great. Yeah. Have a great day and enjoy your kids.
All right, brother. You too.
All right. Ciao.
All right.
Dude, could have gone. I have his phone number. Kinda. He's on a droid. Droid, talk to his wife. Get him an iPhone. Trish, you're in fucking big trouble. You're in big trouble, Trish, you are in big, big trouble. No, I got nothing to say. I got to pee really bad, and I'm headed to Dick Butter says, let's talk some shit now. I really liked him. He's it's weird. Like he's a special person. He has the burden. He has special person burden. He exudes special person, so he got the burden. Yeah, droid, never mind, right? I know, the fucking droid. Trevor. Jesus, Trevor. You're fucking kids. Grow up. Okay. Yes, spankings for Trish. Oh, Trish, stop. Fucking troublemaker. Okay. No guests for a couple days. Lots of stuff going on. I'm headed off to the skate park, and I will see you guys soon. Love you guys. Great show. Thanks, Mr. Townsend. Thank you to all the sponsors who make the show possible. Paper Street Coffee, California Hormones, California Peptides, BirthFit. I didn't even wear my toe spacers today. Oh, shit. Where are my toe spacers? Oh, here they are. Oh, they don't smell bad anymore. Not that they smell bad. They just smell like yeast. All right. Have a good day, everyone. See you at the skate park. Bye-bye.